All right, good morning, Trade Pros. Sound check 1, 2. Welcome to our morning market update for this beautiful Wednesday, March the 11th. It's Wednesday, and that means it's oil inventory day, and that is a hell of a lot of excitement because there's going to be some volatility. I mean, there has been a lot of volatility already in oil, and there will be a little bit more because of this report. All right. Although yesterday we had an API number that was surprisingly big, and it surprisingly didn't work the way it was supposed to. So I'll let Boxy handle that one. Today we have a number and a few other things on the go. First and foremost, I thought this was interesting. On this day in 2008, the Federal Reserve agreed to lend $200 billion to Wall Street investment banks, all right, in a move aimed to remove some of these bad mortgage loans that were made and to be taken offline. On that day, the Dow surged 417 points, which was 3.6% to 12,156. Think about how far we've come, right? The Dow's now 24,000. It's doubled since. It was the biggest one-day gain in 5 years. But at the time, also, Wall Street had a lot of doubts about a bank called Bear Stearns. Bear who? Bear Stearns. They were right to have concerns because it rhymes with Bear Stearns, and they're no longer around. So, a cool little morning market fun fact. News overnight. Rate cuts from Bank of England. They cut by 50 basis points. The interest rate is now 0.25%. That's as of this morning. It's their first emergency move since the financial crisis. So Bank of England jumps on board the rate cut train, even though it didn't really do much from the Federal Reserve. All right, Mark Carney said that it's a big package. He was talking about stimulus. And he also said that the QE remains part of their policy toolkit, and that Iceland also actually reduced the rates by 50 basis points this morning. Okay, it's not going to move the market, but it's really the point of putting this in the notes is tell you that other banks are also taking action. European Central Bank is expected to do some kind of additional monetary policy tomorrow, and we're going to hear more about that. All right, so other banks are racing to also cut rates. Which one way you could look at it is, yes, the market's getting more stimulus. The other way you could look at it is, damn, these banks are actually more concerned than we might be. And then that kind of propels the fear mongering a little bit more. Today, following yesterday's rally, U.S. futures are down another 2% overnight. There's a few things for that. Donald Trump yesterday suggested a 0% payroll tax until the election or until the end of this year. He also said that airlines could be getting some additional aid. And although the details remained unclear, market was excited about the prospect of some kind of stimulus yesterday. And then as the day wore on, we realized two things. Number one, most of these things will need congressional approval. And, there needs to be a whole process behind that. And number two, more importantly, actually, it's not as important as the first one. Congressional approval is still more important. But the second part is that Donald Trump didn't make his press conference that he was supposed to. He was telling people that meet me in the afternoon in the White House, so we'll do a press conference, and there was no press conference. And so there's a little bit of doubt as to what we could actually accomplish or what we could get. And also at the same time, I think the market still wants to deleverage. I don't think we are still at a fair valuation according to where we should be. And I think there's a little bit of a drop coming still. All right. That's just opinion. If it starts to go up, I'm not going to prevent myself from buying. I'm not going to live and die by my opinion. Yesterday, I stayed on the short side all day, and it served me very well. We just waited for the right areas, right opportunities. Team Room did pretty good as well. And, there was a bit of a midday or early day rally, but I just waited for that to subside. Smacked the offer on, put my offer on, hit the bid one, and actually traded, and then off the open, there was a good trade to the downside. All right. Coronaviruses have topped 1,000 in the United States, and 28 people have died from coronavirus up to this point. The interesting part about all that is that I was looking at some numbers, and the hospital vacancy is only 5% in the U.S. at the moment. There's been a more harsh flu season than usual, even before the coronavirus. Remember, the flu was going around really bad in Canada and the United States alike. So we already sort of had a low vacancy rate. So it'll be interesting to see if these cases spread, what the response is to that. And I hope I don't get to see that. I hope I'm not interested enough to see it. I'm not interested to see it, but it will be interesting to see. Put it that way. All right. That's on the coronavirus front. It's still making its way through. A lot of people are taking more action. Speaking from my own experience, Toronto's getting a little bit more quiet. All right. Victoria was telling me as it takes transit in the morning that, there's not that many people. You look at a lot of the shopping malls, it's more quiet. I saw some stuff on social media, people taking airplanes where they're the only two people in the whole plane. So regardless of what's happening, people are afraid of it, and it's going to put a little bit of a drag on the economy. We still don't know the impact. All right, a lot of airline CEOs are taking planes offline, reducing routes, parking them. It costs a lot of money to put a plane in the air with two people in it. So that's kind of where we're at. There's no real new developments overnight. We've had quite a little bit of downside on decent volume. Leads me to believe we might track a little bit lower today. Prior day low is 28.50 on the S&P 500 futures, the level I'm watching very closely. All right, currently trading near the overnight lows. In Asia, Japan's down 2.3%. Hong Kong is down 0.6. China's down 1%. India's up 0.2 of a percentage point. In Europe at midday, London's up 0.8. Paris is up 1.6. And Frankfurt is up 1.6% as well. But losses across the board here in the U.S. Dow is 1.9 lower. S&P 2.1. NASDAQ 2%. So losses across the board. Crude oil is down 2.4 on news. Saudi Arabia is increasing their production even more. OPEC just came out with their monthly oil market report for 2020. March of 2020, it said global oil demand is revised lower, and so is supply, which I don't know. Global oil supply decreased, OPEC production fell. That's about the change. That's a little bit of dated info. All right, crude oil's down, gold is flat, Bitcoin trading at 1% lower into the high 7,000s. It's lost a lot of value. And Bitcoin is slowly answering the question, is it going to be a risk on or risk off asset? For now, it appears like it's risk on, meaning that it's a speculative tool rather than a safe haven parking spot for money in bad times, which isn't good or bad. It just is. It's important to know that as Bitcoin's going through its first real tumultuous time, since its inception. All right, especially when it's been mainstream. That's Bitcoin. 10-year Treasury yield down 6 bips to 0.7, still below 1%. 7 had mortgage applications. 30-year rate came out at 3.47. That's a record low. Mortgage applications have grown 55.4%, and it is the highest growth of mortgage applications since post-Lehman on this index. All right, in post-Lehman, they grew 110% off the index. And post 9/11, the index was at 60, and right now it's at 55.4. So nowhere near the post Lehman refi boom, but more than what we had end of 2014. I'm just looking at the chart here, and so what that tells you is people are using this opportunity to refinance their properties, and the refinance index is through the roof. Record low interest rates, all right, for mortgages, and property valuations are pretty high still. And so why not suck out some of that equity from a home, as long as you use it for something productive, right? I don't necessarily say you do it and go to the bar, but if you want to increase your real estate portfolio and leverage, go for it. If you have an investment opportunity that could earn you a new car, go ahead and buy yourself a new pair of hockey skates. All right, 8:30, we had a consumer price index that came out as well, 0.1 versus a prior 0.1, so in line with expectation. Annualized 2.3, lower than the prior 2.5. All right, we have Department of Energy's petroleum inventories coming out. It's oil inventory day at 10:30 today. We're in 1 hour of one day. You could make your entire weekly income, no matter what job you work. All right, there's a lot of opportunity in this report. Definitely suggest you guys trading this with someone, the group of professional traders like us. We're going to do this today. We're going to do the pre-report analysis at 10:15. We talk about what it means, what numbers would move the market, where we would get in, how we would manage risk, and then we do the trade together. So it's a great opportunity. 1 p.m., 24 billion 10-year note auction. 2 p.m., Treasury budget. Not much on the calendar. It's going to cause a lot of volatility. Things to look out for today is any sudden updates from the stimulus. We know that the working group on markets, also known as the PPT, we know that in the last few days they had a call together with Secretary Treasury Mnuchin, all right, and a lot of bank CEOs together to talk about virus response and any kind of stimulus measures or assistance they could provide to the market. That's become fact. It's interesting because the last time this happened was on December 24th. If you guys will remember that, 2018, that was literally the Christmas wreck. And, the markets bottomed out. And after that call, they promptly started to go up. All right, people started tweeting, like Donald Trump tweeted himself, greatest time to buy equities. He tried that trick again a few days ago. It didn't work. All right, the Fed tried to cut interest rates twice, 50 basis points. That didn't work either. Today is a big day. If we could crack lows, downside we continue. we managed to hold this off, we could spark a rally into the end of this week. All right, so the middle of the week is transitional. Very, very important day. Wait a little bit, be more patient, choose good levels, and manage your risk, and things will be A-okay. All right, guys, you guys take care. Have a great day. I'm going to read through the comments very quickly. Morning, everyone says morning on YouTube. Thank you, Will. Forex, we didn't see contagion, but I heard it's very spooky, eerily similar to what is happening at the moment in the first few minutes of the film alone. So that's interesting. I'm waiting to get some downtime to watch it, but that downtime never comes. There's always something to do. All right. You guys, thank you so much. I love you on YouTube. Manage your risk, Trade Pros. Got to open up the room. And with that, I'm going to throw our friend here, our old desk manager, on the mic. He's going to walk us through tell us the trade opportunities for the day and how to play this thing. YouTube, take care and have yourself a great day. Thank you, everyone. Ciao.